Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a trying new makeup, which I'm super excited about because I have some really exciting products that I've purchased and been sent. The first things are going to be the Juvia's Place products. I had quite a bit of you guys ask me about this. So I have the I Am Magic foundation and I also have the concealer. We're going to try this out. I have not tried those at all. I also have this BabsBeauty Dream Puff Radiant Mousse Primer. I bought this in the sale. I have the big old Morphe 39S palette. This is like the purple toned palette. I have not done anything but swatch this as well, so we're going to play around with that. I have the new Laura Mercier Caviar Volume Mascara as well as the liner. I don't know if we're going to do liner, but if we do, we'll try that. Also have the new Lunar Beauty Moon Prism Powder. Look at this packaging, so pretty. Have these new shades of the Huda Beauty lipsticks. These are the matte lipsticks, and she kind of released some new nudes and then bright shades. And then I have this Lime Crime palette. This is the Sun-Kissed face palette. I figure I will play around with the blush and I will play around with this bronzer if nothing else, or to contour or whatever. So those are the base products. We might add some more throughout, you know how we do, but those are the main products. If you kind of want to see how these are demoed, we're going to go ahead and play around. So if you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe, and let's go ahead and begin. All right, we're going to start off with a primer. This is from BabsBeauty. This brand has been kind of intriguing me, and this is the Dream Puff Radiant Mousse Primer. So it comes out like a foam, and what I've read and what I've seen is that it's not a dewy primer in the sense that it's wet or emollient. It kind of dries down. So this is more for, I would say, combo oily skin. And now I don't know, we're going to try it, but from what I've seen, it's more of like, it has kind of shimmer, glitter, reflective kind of pigment in it, but it dries down. So it's not going to give you dew. Like if you want actual dew to your skin because you're dry, this will probably not be it from what I've read. So I'm going to shake it up. By the way, I have soft tanner on, but I've also been peeling because I got a little bit of sun. So I'm looking splotchy. There is no saving it. We're just going to roll. So I'm going to go ahead and spray. Oh, okay. So this is how it comes out. All right. So note to self, don't flip your hand upside down because it will not stick to the hand. So this is what it looks like. We're going to rub it together and apply to the skin. I don't smell anything, which is nice because I don't particularly like scents. I feel like I definitely look a little Tin Man, but this could be okay under foundation. Now, it's pretty much dried down or set down. It feels like a light serum, possibly. It's not thick like, again, a moisturizer. It's not really tacky. It just feels like you've applied a primer. I don't really know how to describe it. That's kind of nice if you're super oily but you still want that dewy look. I think that's kind of the point of this. I do feel like it gave me some sort of radiance. Taking a little bit of pore primer. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty. I'm putting this in the center just to kind of cancel out the pores. So now we're going to move on to the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Velvety Matte Foundation. I bought this myself. I picked up the shade Ibiza 530. There's a ton of shades, and this is interesting because it comes in just like a little, I don't know, squeeze tube, almost like a primer would or something like that. So I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. The shade looks a little bit olive toned. This is supposed to be golden cool, I believe. It was kind of confusing, I will say, on the website trying to figure out what shade I am. We're going to try to make it work, even though I feel like that undertone is off because my body is more kind of like red tone because I have a little bit of sun, but we're going to try to make it work. I'm going to use a sponge on one side and a brush on the other, and it's supposed to be super full coverage, matte. It says apply product with a wet beauty sponge or synthetic makeup brush. So I'm going to go ahead and start applying this. That color is not right. Damn it. Well, we're just gonna try it because that's the whole point of these videos. It's really hard to tell online. I really thought medium with cool golden, I thought that would be okay. This is looking pretty yellow. It's definitely looking like a full coverage. I'm gonna go in with a brush on this side. All right, so here is the foundation on. I don't feel the need to layer it. It is full coverage. It has a velvety matte feel. It's not accentuating any texture, but it's also not smoothing. It's just kind of middle of the road. We'll see once we use powder. I did bronze up my chest with this Morphe Megastar bronzer before filming because I had some peeling from the sun. So I'm gonna try to use this on the face as well to tie in and maybe kind of make this foundation shade work. So now I want to move on to the concealer. I have the shade number 20, which looks a little bit light, but again, I just did my best trying to find something on the website. So this looks like a pretty big component, very similar to the Too Faced Born This Way Sculpting Concealer. Comparing it to my Tarte though, it's pretty similar. You get 0.34 ounces in the Juvia's Place and you get 0.338. So you're pretty much getting the same amount even though these are a little bit different components. This is a shorter but thicker component and it does have a pretty large doe foot applicator. So think basically like the Too Faced but even a bigger applicator. So the doe foot on this is quite large, very similar to like the Tarte Shape Tape. And the way that this feels honestly does remind me of the Shape Tape just upon first applying it. I love that neither of these have a scent. That's something that a lot of brands include. And I'm finding more and more that certain things just do not need to be scented. So let's go ahead and blend this out. If you hear little footsteps, that's my Pomeranian coming in here. Ooh, looks pretty good. Okay, so this is what the concealer looks like. It looks pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and set it with my Too Faced Born This Way powder. It's just my favorite. I'm just going to use this all over my face because I definitely have to set my face. So this is what my skin is looking like set with powder. I'm actually going to go in with a little bit of this Glow Recipe Setting Mist because I do feel like up close I'm looking a little bit dry. It is a matte foundation, so I'm not shocked, but I think just adding a little bit of this will kind of set the powder down. Brows are on. I want to jump into this Morphe palette. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. It has a mixture of shimmers and metallics and mattes, and then I think there's one glitter in here. The shades in the middle here are almost like ColourPop shadows in the way that they feel so creamy. They're like iridescent toppers. So we're just gonna go ahead and play around with this today. To start out, I'm mixing these two shades. Wow, I'm so good at this. This is super profesh, but you know what I mean. Can I get in the right area? There we go, these two shades. I really just want to do something nice and light for spring, so I'm just going to kind of work this into my crease. So I'm really just kind of blowing this out all over the lid. I just want to do something really kind of soft and ethereal. I don't want to go too dark. So next I want to go into this kind of beautiful purple periwinkle shade. I'm going to take this on a smaller brush and focus this on the outer portion of the eye and then use that bigger brush to blend. Not going super deep with this at all. I just want a little bit of color. And then same thing on the lower lash line. So for the lid, I want to go into this really beautiful shade right here. So I'm going to apply this with this Morphe brush. This is an iridescent kind of topper shade. So I'm not expecting full opacity. I'm expecting sort of a wash. I'm going to jump into this shade and kind of blow this out on my lower lash line. I really want to kind of bring this down and make it pretty smoky. And it almost feels unnatural when I do this, but it really is beautiful. But I really am low and you almost feel like, wow, you're like getting into where you should be bright from your concealer. And just to kind of deepen this, I'm going to go into this shade and keep this pretty tight up on the lash line. So I'm going to go into this shade down here and use this kind of to merge the shimmery shade with the matte shade, if that makes sense. I'm just kind of applying it to the center of the lid very, very lightly just to kind of blend these together. So next I'm actually going to go into this Laura Mercier Caviar Intense Ink Eyeliner. I'm just going to do a line, I believe, just because I don't feel like this look needs a wing. So first impression is actually pretty good on this. I feel like it's nice and slick. It's got a good black color. It's not the blackest I've ever tried, but it's really easy to use. So if this doesn't dry out, I think I will really enjoy this. So next I'm going to try out their new Laura Mercier Caviar Volume Mascara. This is a brand new mascara. I feel like we're getting kind of a surge in new mascaras recently. So this is what the wand looks like if my camera would focus. There we go, so you can see. So I'm going to go ahead, I already curled my lashes and I'm going to apply. Okay, so I immediately feel like it's kind of a spiral wand, but there's little spikies in there. One of those that really grabs and kind of touches your lid. Just be careful you don't like poke yourself in the eye. Okay, so people are asking me to zoom in. My camera is zoomed in as it'll go, but can you see the difference? So I have mascara on this side and none on this side. So this is what the mascara looks like with one coat. I'm going to go ahead and pop on some lashes. These are Salon Perfect 661s, and then we will start on the face. I'm really excited because I feel like right now I'm looking kind of pale yellow with this really dark like red tan. So for the inner rim of my eye, I want to go in with this Crybaby from ColourPop. I cannot find a really small brush, so I'm hoping that I will be able to do it with this brush. So I want to contour the face a little bit. I'm going to go into this Lime Crime, what is this called? Sun-Kissed Face Palette, and I'm going to go up to the shade called Salty and use this as a contour. So I'm just going to kind of sculpt out the face before we go in and bronze. So to bronze the skin, I'm going to go into this Morphe Megastar bronzer because I use this on my body. I want to kind of match my face to it, hopefully bringing in this kind of warm, this is more of like a red toned orangey bronze. And this brush is from a Real Techniques set. For blush, I want to go into this really hot shade. This is called Sizz. Okay, that looks crazy pigmented. Woo! Okay. A little bit goes a long way. Wow. I'm just going to kind of blend it out so it kind of goes across the face. And then if you feel like you've gone a little bit too far, just take like a powder brush. It's very pretty though. I love a strong blush. So for highlighter, I'm going to go in with this Lunar Beauty Moon Prism Powder. I have the shade Mars. This is like a peachy pink. Look at this packaging. It's so beautiful. He recently sent these over to me. So I'm going to go ahead and use this on the cheeks. This is what it looks like, and I just feel like I want to stay with the really pretty kind of peachy purple fairy-like theme here. These are gorgeous. So I'm also going to put some on the tip of my nose. Okay, so the packaging is gorgeous and these are so pretty. This is like a nice pinky peach highlight. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips with Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. So for lipstick, I wanna go in with one of these new Huda Beauty matte bullet lipsticks. We have the shade Staycation, which is what I think I'm gonna go in with, which is like a really muted nude. I'm going to jump back into the palette and just take a little bit of this really pretty champagne shade. See if I can put a little bit of this on my inner corner, just to brighten it up a little bit. I'm also going to take a little bit up on the brow bone. So I hope this doesn't ruin it, but I want to add a little bit of pink into the lips. This is the MAC and Aladdin Lip Gloss in Magic Carpet Ride. It has a little bit of pink shimmer. Yeah. Like a tiny bit of like an iridescence. Kind of just in the center of the lip. And then to finish this off, I'm going to go in with my Watermelon Glow Mist. Alright guys, here's the finished makeup look. I'm going to go over the products, and if you hear my neighbor mowing, I apologize. I've been trying to wait it out for about 30 minutes and he just keeps continuing. So we're just going to kind of move quickly. First off, the BabsBeauty primer. I actually really like this. It's hard to tell because I did use such a mattifying foundation, but I will have to keep playing around with this. I think this would be a good option for those of you that are combo, maybe a little bit oily, but you still want a radiance. I could visibly see the radiance under my foundation. This might be one that you would use under like a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer, so I'm going to keep playing around with this, but my first impression is good. The Juvia's Place foundation, I'm a little bit iffy on. I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. It could be the shade. I feel like that Morphe bronzer really brought it back to life in terms of matching the rest of my skin tone. I did notice a little bit of kind of dryness and almost like it's not sticking to my nose close up, so I'm going to have to keep playing with this. The concealer I really like. It reminds me of Shape Tape in the way that it applies. Shape Tape might have a little bit more coverage, but I'm not sure just because I kind of smoked out some purples under the eye, so I'll keep playing with this, but first impression is good on this. I like this probably more than I like the foundation. The Morphe palette, really, really pretty. I mean, I feel like everything blended beautifully. I didn't have to work hard. I used, I don't know, maybe 4 mattes, and then I used 2 of the shimmers so far. So actually 3. So yeah, I really like it. I feel like this is like an iridescent lover's dream, especially if you like purples. I mean, this whole thing is like purple and pink. So if you're into that really kind of watercolor purple look, I think you'd really enjoy it, and I had no problems blending. The Laura Mercier eyeliner I think I'm going to really like. I like how slick it is. It's not the darkest black, but it's easy to apply, so you could go over it with eyeshadow if you wanted it a little bit darker. My first impression of the mascara is that it's nice. It's hard to tell because I had all this eyeshadow on, so I'll keep playing around with this. I still prefer my Hourglass just upon first impression, but I'll keep playing with this and kind of update. This palette I want to play around with some more. I feel like this blush is just summer in a palette. I mean, it's just like bam, a little goes a long way. They do have this kind of shimmery blush and this shimmery kind of bronzer, and then they have 2 highlights. This is like an interesting color for a highlighter. It's like Trophy Wife from Fenty Beauty in a way. So I'll keep playing with this, but first impression was nice. I think my neighbor's finally done mowing. Please, God. Really, really loving this Lunar Beauty highlighter. It looks peachy in the pan. I'm not sure if just mixing it with all of these kind of purple tones, it's looking more of like an icy pink on the skin. It's so pretty. The other video that I filmed recently, you guys were asking what was on my eyes, and it was actually Jupiter, which is the deepest shade of this. So these are kind of multi-use, but really, really like this. The packaging is gorgeous. I actually really like these Huda lipsticks. The first time she released these, I didn't like them. The colors were like a weird undertone, and I felt like it kind of made me look sick, but these colors I feel like are more on trend. There's some bright ones I want to try as well, and of course I love MAC lip gloss. If you don't like sticky, stay far away. These are super, super sticky and thick, but I do really like them. So everything was pretty much good today. I'm gonna have to play around and see. I feel like a lot of it was good, a few standouts, but again, I'm gonna have to play around and we will update in a future video to come. So that is everything for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below if you've tried any of these products. As always, I will link them all below if you want to pick them up. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.